All right, let's continue. So I'm going to drop another new node, abd configure, which is here. So another new part of this pipeline. So I haven't explained, but every node that kind of looks like this with this pink import and the two, and the multiple imports and outports is part of the new kind of RBD workflow. The Vellum workflow kind of looks similar, but these will all be called RBD something or other, and they'll all have the main geometry line, a constraint line. This doesn't have to be this way. It's just neater because whenever you're building, the idea was whenever a typical RBD workflow would have all of these kind of lines anyway, and they would be separate, and you'd have one here, one there, and they'd be sharing things back and forward. So it's easier just to keep them all together in this one kind of one stack, I suppose you'd call it. Okay, so we've got the main geometry, the constraints, and the proxy geometry that we built. And if you're not sure, sometimes they have 4 or 3, you can just hover over the top. There we go, proxy. Here we've got static bound geometry. Okay, so this abd configure will do a few things. It will set the attributes that we need for the simulation. So we could take a look at them if we go into our geometry spreadsheet. Let's see, on the points right now, we don't have anything, but it has packed everything and we've already got a name. So yeah, if we go back here actually and kind of just go into selection mode, you'll see that these are packed now and we've got less points than we did before. We got 12,000, whereas before we had 2 million, right? So yeah, this is going to pack everything, but we can also use it to set up any attributes that we like. For example, I'm going to use it to set up this. We've got these kind of physical attributes that we can set up, and we can use this concrete one. We've got these defaults, and I'm going to just set this to concrete, and yeah, dry and clean surfaces is fine. Okay, so that should, let's have a look. Maybe actually if we select the proxy geometry, I think it will have, yeah, we've got a density, a bounce on that now as well. Okay, and then on this geometry, yeah, we don't have those because these are not going to be simulated. Remember, this geometry is for like rendering to be seen, and then this is what will actually be simulated, the proxy geometry. Okay, so yeah, we've got all those set up. I also want to turn on the active attributes. Okay, so if you look now, they'll all have a attribute, a value of 1 for active. So active is, as it sounds, whenever we the active value is 1, bullet will simulate it. It will be able to be affected by forces. Basically, it will fall with gravity. If it's hit by another bullet object, it will move. If the value is 0, it still collides with other objects, and you can still be constrained to it, but it won't move. Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is that I want to set up a perimeter around the edge of non-active pieces, right? So that when we actually simulate this, we'll have an explosion in the middle, and we don't just have the whole road just kind of dropping or doing, I think it will look weird. So this will have a nice kind of jagged edge around the edge. So we need to come back right up to the top here to this geometry, because I'm going to use the edge of the geometry that we made up here. Okay, so I'm going to grab that. Maybe I'll just make a null, do it under here and call this out, floor pre-fracture, maybe like that. Okay, and then I'll just object merge it in here, so just so I don't have a long line coming down. So object merge, drop that here, and then just go and find that out floor pre-fracture. And so after here, what I'm going to do is use an attribute transfer to transfer that that attribute? Well, first we need to, I'm going to make a selection of all the outside. So what I can do is just delete the top. The easiest way I figured of doing that is deleting the top and bottom. So we can delete by normal basically. So if I look for normals facing upwards, okay, and then just do that, and then do the opposite, do another delete, and then change this to -1, and push this up by let's see, it's getting rid of too many. Are we deleting them here? I need to, let's see, there we go. Yeah, drop that down and do the same here. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to grab those edge pieces there, and then grab an attribute transfer, which is here. Okay, transfer from this, and we also need to generate that. We need that attribute on this. So let's call this. It's an integer. Ayat active is 0. Okay, which means it will be off. Come here. It's a bit hard to visualize this, so if we just do a delete here, and let's make sure that we are grabbing that active. Okay, and then delete by expression at active is 0. That should work on points. Let's see. We bring this down. There we go. So there you can see where this is what will be active. That seems like it's the wrong way round. Yeah, I'm not sure why exactly. It's doing something weird here. So they should be deleting any point which has an active value of 0, but in fact it's deleting anyone which has a 1. It's kind of weird. Maybe it doesn't need 2. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, for the expression you need 2. You need 2 equals marks, so it's like a like an if statement. Okay. So and if we do delete non-selected, and then I've got this with a distance threshold of 1, a blend width of 0. You can see all these parts now won't move. They will collide with our the other parts, but they won't be affected by any of the forces, right? So just one more thing I want to set up in this RBD configure is the if we come to speed limit, I want a speed max and a spin max. Okay, because we've got such different pieces. Maybe, you know, in real life you would have the smaller pieces would fly off like bullets, but I want to kind of rein that in a bit with our simulation. So I'm going to set speed limit to 20 and a spin of 20 as well, just to kind of calm everything down just a little bit, to control it. And then so that, you know, because we might have lots of little pieces that get stuck at that max, I'm going to randomize that value a little bit with a attribute randomize. Just drop that underneath. So the name, we can find that attributes now. That should be generated for us on the points. Let's see. There we go. So the speed max. So if I can change that now. I could have just made it here in this attribute randomize, but either way. So if I just turn that on at default now, you can see we are setting it to a value between 0 and 1, but I want to actually multiply what we've already got. Okay, so now we're going to have values between 20 and 0. Okay, so, but obviously I don't want it to be 0. I'm going to bring this up to 0.8. So it's going to be multiply 20 with 0.8 and 1.2, something like that. And we only need one dimension. It's just a a float value. Okay, so there we get a bit of a different value for that speed max, so that we don't get like a wall of pieces moving at the same speed, basically. So with that, we're pretty much ready to simulate. We just need to build the bombs, actually, the system for the velocity and, you know, the actual simulation itself.